This is the first time I'm making a video about a story that is pretty questionable. I've been sitting on this story for quite some time, and I've been debating about making this video because there was just something about it that was just not true, and I was like, this is probably fake news or something like that. But then after actually looking into it, there seems to be some legitimacy to the story itself. But what's going on behind the scenes is rather bullshit. Because today, we need to talk about a gentleman who claims that GameStop has lost $375,000 worth of cards that he brought into GameStop to get graded, and GameStop lost the package, so now he called the police on them, and now they're doing an active investigation, or at least according to him, they're interrogating the GameStop employees. This is a mess all around. From GameStop accepting trading cards and getting them graded and accepting them in exchange for in-store credit or cash, all the way to the gentleman here trading in $375,000 worth of cards to GameStop of all places. We're gonna get right into this story because this whole thing was like a head scratcher, and I was just thinking to myself, like what the hell is wrong with this dude, and what the hell is wrong with this company? So taking it from the top, you have a gentleman by the name of Mason Ray. He goes by the name of Cardboard Gems on TikTok. He has his TikTok where he kind of shows off or opening packs of like vintage Star Wars cards, and he wanted to trade some of these cards to GameStop. He took some cards, he went into a GameStop store in Knoxville, Tennessee, and he had a declared value of $375,000. So for those that don't know, yes, GameStop just recently started taking in trading cards that you can grade, and what happens in this instance is that GameStop will then take your card, you pay a certain fee to get each card graded. GameStop takes the cards, you pay for the fees for the service. GameStop will then send those cards to a third-party company known as Professional Sports Authenticator. They're like the leading company in the world when it comes to trading cards. That like they will grade cards and they have a value, they do their own little thing, and then they ship it back to you. Once you submit your card to GameStop and you pay a fee and GameStop ships it over to PSA, PSA will then grade the card, they'll put it in a plastic slab, they'll send it over to GameStop, they send you an email saying, hey, it's ready. You get over to the GameStop location that you traded your card in, and then after that, GameStop says, all right, here's your card. You have options. You can either keep the graded card, or you could trade it in at GameStop and we'll give you some cash for it, or you could just sell it to somebody else. It's your choice. It's really your card at the end of the day. And this is what Mason Ray was doing. But he declared the value of the cards that he was trading at $375,000, which is a lot of schmeckles if you ask me. But then later on, Mason Ray would get some sort of notification that his package was lost. He probably went to GameStop and asked, where's my package? I haven't had any updates on my order and everything, and GameStop wasn't able to find his package. He calls the police because he tells the police, hey, GameStop lost my package. My package of cards that I wanted graded was worth $375,000, and I want every employee in this location interrogated. So I'm gonna play you a quick video. He was recording himself while he was in his car waiting for police to arrive. Check it out.
Hello. I submitted a PSA order to GameStop, and here's how it went. They lost the package and the declared value, $375,000. Let's see how it goes. The police are on their way now. I'll keep you updated.
So for those that don't know or not familiar with the whole grading system when it comes to trading cards, the definition of a declared value is basically an estimate of what the value of said item would be if it was authenticated and graded. Mason Ray took all these cards, he brought it to GameStop, and he said that these cards that I'm giving to you right now are totaled at $375,000. Now, I don't know what's the value of each of those cards, because if you're trading in a card, you have to have a declared value for each of them. He's just giving us like an estimate, like a total or something something like that. But even then, $375,000 is a lot of money for GameStop to be handling. In the comments section, Ray reveals that the haul included rare vintage Star Wars trading cards, though he's not quite clear about the number of cards he's amassed and shipped to justify his six-figure estimate. I don't think that makes any sense. You're telling me that as a card collector yourself that has these cards and you wanted to get them authenticated and graded by a third-party company through GameStop, you're telling me that you brought in those cards and now you can't recollect what cards you brought in? I would think as a card collector, you would have everything down to the T. If I have a set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and they're worth hundreds of dollars, if I were to go to GameStop, I would make sure that I would have a list of all the cards that I brought in, what series they came from, what condition they're in, the value they were in at the time I brought the cards in at GameStop. Like, I would go from A to Z. I don't understand why he didn't do that, because now his defense is looking a little bit weak for him to even justify six figures. You're telling me that you declared $375,000 of your cards and you can't even tell me what cards you brought in other than they're just vintage Star Wars cards? The math ain't mathin' right now. So I did a little bit of digging and I went to some forums, if you will, and I came across a receipt that he posted on his social media. As you can see in his receipt, it says PSA grading value bulk. He paid $159.92. And as you can see, he got a discount on like the shipping fee. So I ran a little bit of a math and I went to the GameStop website first to see what he was paying for exactly. So if you look at the GameStop website shows here that other card grading would cost you $19.99 for each card. And of course, the flat rate shipping is $4.99, but he got a discount off of it, so you could tell he's already a GameStop Pro member. And if you look at the declared value, it's $500 per card. He only traded in 8 cards. That's it. Just 8 cards. You're telling me that 8 cards is worth $375,000. I don't know, man. That's the price you declared. Meanwhile, the maximum value you could declare on a card is $500. So the most he could declare is $4,000. Not $375,000. It's kind of bullshit. But even then, if that was the case, I would think that he would post more receipts that would justify his value. But unfortunately, he only posted that one receipt. So that one receipt is only accounting for 8 cards. You and I may most likely agree that 8 cards being worth that much money is very unlikely. So I took it upon myself to also look into the PSA website on their pricing and see how things are on their end. And lo and behold, the value bulk, just like we saw on the receipt, Collectors Club only. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm not sure if that's a subscription service that you have to subscribe to through PSA, but you do have to pay $18.99 per card, max insured value at $500, and estimated turnaround is 45 business days, kind of similar to what GameStop has going on. I think it's also worth noting about the liability for lost or damaged items. I took a deeper dig into GameStop's terms of service and everything when it comes to trading cards, and what happens if those cards that you brought into GameStop were to be lost or stolen in GameStop's possession. And it says here that GameStop will exercise reasonable and ordinary care in handling items submitted for the card grading services. However, if GameStop determines in its sole discretion that your item submitted for PSA grading services was lost, stolen, or damaged while in the possession or control of GameStop on, quote, a lost event, GameStop will compensate you as provided in the section based upon the lesser of 1, the declared value, and 2, the fair market value of the items at the time of the loss as determined by GameStop standard procedures, which may include filing a claim with our insurance carrier. The declared value you provide with the submission form for your item is only an estimate of the insured value, and the fair market value of the item may be less than your declared value. So it's pretty clear cut how they just broke it down. So if I got a Pokemon, like a Pikachu card, and you're a GameStop, and I give you a Pikachu card, and I say the declared value of this card is $100. You take the card, and all of a sudden it disappears. Whatever. You owe me money now. What you would do is that you would first see when it was lost, you check the date when it was lost, then you would look at the market value of that card of the day that you lost it, and then you would pay that person, or you would pay me, based on the fair market value of that card. However, if the market value of that card is more than the declared value that I declared when I brought the card in, they are only going to pay me that declared value. I think the bottom line of this whole situation here, because this really had me shaking my head the entire time I was reading this entire article, GameStop, I really wish could just stay away from trading cards. Not like selling cards, like they should stop selling Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece cards, but I really think that GameStop should not be doing that. Even if they train their employees to handle things like that, I don't care. This is GameStop. This is not a hobby store. But of course, GameStop, just like any other business, is going to look at an industry like trading cards. They're going to see people spending top dollar for those things, and they're going to say, hey, I want a slice of that pie too. I want to make some money out of this. GameStop is going to GameStop. And that's why people don't like GameStop, because GameStop always just jumps on things just for the sake of making money. That's really all there is to it. And for GameStop to be a middleman in that whole situation is just really sketch. Because now you're throwing a middleman into a situation that should just be only between the person that has the cards and PSA. That's it. If I had thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of trading cards, I would never trust GameStop to lay a finger on it. I would rather just go straight to the source. I don't care if I have to pay a subscription on top of the fees I have to pay for each card. At least I know that I'm sending it directly to the source. If I'm shipping it, it's on me, not GameStop. Now you gave GameStop a whole bunch of cards that you claim is $375,000, and now you're making this whole hullabaloo by calling the police and having the GameStop employees interrogated because they probably stole your cards, realizing how valuable they are. Like I find it so hard to feel bad for Mason Ray, because I don't know what would compel you to take over $300,000 worth of cards, and the first thing that comes to your mind in the morning is, oh yeah, I'll just go to GameStop and they'll do me the favor of just sending it to the PSA. Like, it should be fine, right? No, there's something wrong with that. And now you're over here on social media talking about GameStop is a scam. We already knew GameStop is a scam. GameStop has been a scam for a very long time. From the way they handle their new games, from the way they do trade values, all the way to their return policies. GameStop's been a scam, and this isn't news to anybody. Like, dude, like, you just played yourself. Like, I don't know why you as a person that invests so much money into this hobby of collecting cards and getting it traded would think of going to GameStop of all places, where you could have just went to PSA directly. If I had cards worth thousands of dollars, I would go personally into PSA, deliver those cards myself, and they can email me when those cards are finally graded, and I would pick them up myself. This person did not do that. This person trusted GameStop, of all companies, to do that for him. And now his cards are lost. This isn't something that I would wish on Mason Ray. It's unfortunate. But at the same time, you played a stupid game and you won a stupid prize. And that's really it at the end of the day. I think both sides here, like GameStop, you should not be dealing with grading cards or trading cards at all. And Mason should have not have entertained even the thought of bringing those kinds of cards of that declared value to GameStop. Honestly, I think Mason is going to get shafted at the end of the day here. Even looking at his receipt, he only sent in 8 cards. There's no way those cards are worth $375,000. I don't even know he's even going to get a fraction of that money back if GameStop were to compensate for lost goods that was in their possession at the time that it was disappearing. Other than that, that's really all I had. This was a little bit of a rant more than anything. I'm sorry. I used to work at GameStop. I worked at GameStop for roughly like 5 years. Cards of that value to a store filled with employees working minimum wage. This isn't GameStop employees out here wearing suits and wearing white gloves. Ooh, yes, this is a very exquisite card. Oh, we will get this graded right away. We'll send you an email when we authenticate the card. Yes, such a fine art indeed. Like, no, it's not. GameStop employees don't get paid much to even fucking care about trading cards, but they have to because it's their fucking job and they need the money to get by. But you're over here bringing these kind of cards to these employees and you're expecting this kind of service. There's things that just makes no sense, man. It really doesn't. But other than that, rant over. Let me stop before I yap y'all's ears off. I'm off this. Take care. I'll see you in my next video. Peace.